Blow the whistle, back at you.
Wow.
BTW.
Back at it.
One of the hottest podcasts integrating sports and mental health.
Yeah.
Just using sports as a platform, but the real heart of it is the mental health piece. Got a great guest.
Yes.
I'm your host, Steve Brown.
For the last 3 days, popping, it goes down for real. Don't stop.
Hey man, it's your co-host Dame, not your average therapist. You know how we do it every week.
Too much, you can't handle all that. Blow it. Blow the whistle.
Oh man.
Man, we got a good guest coming up this
Oh man.
night.
Hey, if you ever seen the guest that we have on the show for today, if you've ever seen him in his current position, you know what I'm saying, like on the highlight reels, all of that. Wasn't it on? It was either on Hard Knocks or it was one on Amazon where they followed the team the entire season.
I remember. I think it was on Amazon. I'm not for certain.
Yeah, it was on Prime. Don't quote us on that, but I think it was Amazon.
But it was. Dude,
his coaching, like, he get me motivated. I'm just sitting there watching, he's
known as one of the best big man dancers.
Oh, word.
In league history. Known as one of the top defensive, one of the members of the top defensive line.
Yeah, that was crazy.
In NFL history.
Oh,
He's going to be one of the top coaches.
Absolutely.
In NFL history.
No question.
This is a top guy that we're going to be listening to. I'm excited.
Yeah, man.
A lot of input, going to share. It's the man that, up under the helmet. That's what we talk about.
We go underneath the helmet each and every episode here on Blowing the Whistle. So we're going to blow the whistle on everything in between A to Z. Addiction to, incarceration, to depression, to suicide prevention.
Family systems,
family dynamics, social issues. We bringing all that here on BTW. You know how we do each and every week.
Everyday occurrences, right?
Man, hey,
let's go.
I don't even want to deter God, because I definitely want to save this conversation for when our guests come on.
Yeah.
But we definitely got to talk about these social issues, man. We got to talk about some change, man.
Definitely, man.
Got to, man. It's a lot going on.
Yeah.
A lot going on. 2020 has been probably one of the most.
Oh, it's been the toughest. I don't care what generation that you grow up in or what decade you came up or were born. This is the toughest year.
My goodness, ever.
Experience, ever. It's still being things happening.
Yes.
Precedent.
Wow.
So,
hey, man, make sure we be the change that we want to see in the world. You know what I'm saying? That's always been my mantra. Just be the change that you want to see.
Yeah.
You can't cry for it if you're not doing it yourself.
Yeah. You got to do better.
Yeah.
Expect someone else. You do better.
That's that old school Williams Brothers gospel song, sweep around your front door before you come peeping around mine.
That's right.
You know how it is?
He just told you how.
Hey, we blowing the whistle early. God damn it.
Here we go.
Hey, go, we gotta get our guest in here. We done got two.
Let's bring him in
already.
Buck,
what's going on,
man?
What's going on, man?
Shoot, nothing much. What's going on with you?
Can't complain, man. It's been a minute, man. You look good, man.
Well, this Dame right here, your co-host from Blow the Whistle. We talking about sports, mental health, and everything in between. So we definitely excited to have you on, man. Followed your career for a long time. I'm a South Carolina boy, so I definitely followed, Clemson coming up.
Tigers.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Clemson for sure. But definitely, welcome, Blow the Whistle, our special guest for this evening. 12-year vet.
12, right?
12, yep.
12, second round. Second round to them beloved Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay. Then we went, where we went next? Did we go to San Fran?
Went to San Fran.
Oh, yeah.
We went to the Super Bowl with Pittsburgh, though.
Yeah, went to Pittsburgh, Super Bowl with Pittsburgh, Super Bowl with Carolina.
So, man, I'm just going to go ahead and top it off and get into it. What is that topic? Because everybody can't experience being at the top. Everybody dream of being, at the top of their craft or whatever their profession is, but everybody can't get there. That's always the goal. You went there twice. I mean, how is that to be in that game where it's like all of America, all of the world is looking at you guys to be there twice? How is that?
Oh man, it's crazy because, like you said, it's the biggest game in our profession. There's no one bigger, and the world stops for you. My first Super Bowl, with the Pittsburgh Steelers, happened to be in Arizona versus the Dallas Cowboys, and you had two of the greatest franchises of all time vying to see who was going to be the first to 5. Right. And man, it was just crazy. You got people that don't even speak English, don't even understand the game, but they're stopping to watch the game. And, people, teachers that you had in the 2nd and 3rd grade that pretty much lost contact with you. They're getting in contact, talking about how proud they are of you. But man, just to be out there, and the thing that was so crazy for me, I was the first person introduced in that Super Bowl because we introduced the defense, and we was the home team, so they introduced us first. Right. And I was the first person introduced in that game, man, and it was just like slow motion. Like you can hear the crowd, but you don't hear it, and it's like I'm running full speed out the tunnel, but it's like I'm just running in slow motion. But it was the greatest feeling I've had in my life, as far as sports wise. Because it was the epic center of my career being in the Super Bowl.
Oh, absolutely. Wow. Now, I was just telling some of the viewers before, I was like, listen, he goes down as one of the best big man dancers in league history. And he also,
I'm surprised.
It's mid talents, but he also has been known as one of the members of what some have called one of the best defensive lines in NFL history.
I would agree
when you
with
were
that.
in Carolina with the combination of Mike Rucker, Julius Peppers, Chris Jenkins, and even Big Al Wallace. Like to be in that consideration, what is that internal feeling, man? How gratifying is that? Especially, you can't talk about yourself doing while you're playing, but afterwards, it's been a minute. You can kind of reflect and appreciate. How is that?
It was good because it was a D line that was built because me, Chris, and Mike had suffered through that 1-15 year. I think it was our rookie year, that 1-15 year.
Yeah.
And people ran threw over us and everything. And then the next year we draft Julius, and we changed coaches with John Fox, and Jack Del Rio came in, and he brought in this attitude like, this defense is only going to go as far as the defensive line goes. Mm-hmm. And he helped build this attitude with us that when we step on the field, we got to feel like we're the baddest people in the whole stadium, no matter who we're playing. And it was such a great time for that because we was in a division with the Tampa Bay Bucks, who had Warren Sapp and Simeon Rice, and those guys had just won a Super Bowl. And so we looked at here's the challenge. We're going to get to battle them twice. And we took it personal, playing with Pep. We knew when Pep stepped on in Carolina, he was a Hall of Famer. Because nobody 6'7", 270 pounds could do the stuff he could do. Chris Jenkins was a freak. His career marred by injuries. But when Chris Jenkins, his second year here, became one of the best D tackles in the league at 6'4", 330, could run, could jump. And Mike Rucker was I thought an underrated guy. This guy had double-digit sacks, every year. And people don't believe he played the right defensive end, which is the pass rushing end. Pep played the left defensive end.
Right.
And for me, later on, that time in my career, I was the elder statesman. So it was more about, I had skills, but it was more about the mental aspects for me. Because I had seen all the blocks and I had played against all the offensive line coaches. So it was a perfect formula. I had young guys that I could help. Then I could add my expertise. But what really made us go was Al Wallace and Shane Burton, Kendall Moorhead, and Kemp Rasmussen. Those are our backups. And they pushed us so hard in practice because we knew if we mess around and made a mistake, one of those guys could come in and start. They could come in and start and take your position. But so we felt comfortable that we could go all out, tap our head and come out, and it wouldn't be a drop-off. And it was great. And we just wanted to lay a foundation And I honestly think the reason we don't get the outward credit that we get because we couldn't finish the job in the Super Bowl versus the Patriots.
Yeah.
But if you look at the stats, I think that first year we was together in the first 8 games we was on pace to break the all-time sack record for a team. I think we had 32 sacks at the halfway point of the season, which was crazy back then.
Yeah.
So definitely y'all was aggressive, and it was kind of like y'all was the mainstay for Carolina's defense during that time. Now my question is, moving forward, kind of like into your coaching career, how did you change that mindset, or was it a similar mindset for you going from being an athlete to now being a coach, just in your preparation, your motivation, your aggression, the ways you attack like your coaching style?
Well, I always used to say, you sit back, you have different type of coaches. You have the coach you can't stand, and you have the coach that you like, but he ain't a good coach, but you like him because he don't get on you. Right. And I always wanted to be a mixture. And when I got done playing, I was like, I'm not gonna do nothing football. I'm done with football. But I went right into coaching little league and high school football. I was coaching Victory Christian before Dee came and took him to championship, because it's just in your blood. And Dee could tell you, you have all this knowledge just sitting there, and you're like, I got to give it to somebody. And so what I did, I tried to become the coach that I always wanted. The guy that can get on you, can yell and scream, but at the end of the day, man, how your kids doing? Is your mom and dad all right? You need anything? As athletes, we're always taught, we're a big family, but not many coaches or organizations exude that family atmosphere once you're done. It's just on the football field with family. But when I got into coaching, I said, we're gonna be family. We truly gonna be family. I'm not their coach. I'm like a brother. I'm like an older brother that's been through everything you're going through. So you can come to me and ask me. You can ask me how it is to get blocked, how it is to make a sack, how it is to be the jokester on the team, how it is to be the captain. I can keep it 100 with you, and I keep it raw and authentic with my guys, and they respect that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I never want my guys to go into a situation when I'm coaching them that they don't know exactly where they stand. So I'm always brutally honest with them. Hey, man, you're doing a great job. Keep on doing what you're doing. You'll be good. Hey, man, your name won't come up on the chopping block if you're doing that. Because, D, you've seen it before. Coaches, oh, you're doing good. Then they tap you on your back and say, hey, bring me your playbook. You're like, hold up. I've been doing good the whole year.
Every day is different.
Wow.
It's different. So I keep it funky with my guys, and they respect. This generation here, they want you to be honest with them. But you don't have to know nothing about football as long as you're honest with them. And I try to be honest with them, and I always trying to grow myself. I try to speak on my experience. I try to let them know, I wasn't a great football player. I played 12 years, but it was something I had. I studied the game. I knew the game more mentally than and relied on that than I did physical ability. So I can draw from that, and then just from the playing experiences, the Super Bowls, I played with 10 Hall of Famers and like 3 more that's waiting to go in. And so I could tell those guys how those guys work and what they did to make their career go.
Wow. Man, I'm listening to you, and one thing you said, you talked about being a person that has been through it all, per se, and can build and talk and inspire off of your experiences. Now we've talked about the game, we've talked about, the coaching you, but a more valuable piece, and I know the one that you hold more precious is just the man. You are a player, you are a former player, you are a coach, right? But you're also a father, you're also a husband, you're also a man of faith, and so transition a little bit to the state of our nation right now and the things that we have to experience. We mentioned the pandemic and the things that we're going through now, right. But with everything else that we have, with the racial injustice and the things that are going on in our community, how is it? How is the mindset now in those roles? Because I know I play some of those same roles, not all of them that you play, but I know personally, the pressures of being able to have that same mindset that you just talked about in those roles, to excel, to be elite, to go off of my my intellect, my smarts, whatever it is.
Right.
How do you do that now in the state of our nation?
Well, it's more so, you have to be totally smart and educated about what's going on. A lot of stuff that's happening in this nation now is not new. I grew up in the deep South. This is not new. This is not the alarm going off. We just been hitting snooze for so many years and just ignoring it. So, and I got 3 kids, 2 girls in college, and my son is a senior in high school. And I try to educate them on, let's go back and listen to history, because it's just repeating itself. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And we educate ourselves. We got to be smart about situations, because my one daughter's an Oregon State volleyball player. Like she's a rebel. She wants to march. She wants to do everything. I'm like, and that's great. But when they put a mic in front of your mouth, in front of your face, what are you going to say? Be educated on it. Because now you can learn from the mistakes of the past that we made and they're made. And now they're just not speaking to you like you're just in the moment and you just want to do something because you're young. No, you're educated on it. And that's what I try to do. I try to be educated. I try to, give them, we talk about, now, what's the solution? If you had a chance to talk to the powers that be, what would be your solutions? And have that type of mindset, not just, well, I'm mad at this and ooh, all right, you're mad. Why are you mad? And what can we do to help you? But then also having a young son, it's really sometimes it's really scary, because I'm having to have these talks with him about, being safe when he leave the house. Now, it went from 2 years ago where he could, I'm going down the street to my buddy's house. I'm driving over here. Yeah. All right, I see you get back to now. Hey, leave your phone on. I'm tracking you. Where you at? If you get pulled over by the cops, this is this. Yes, sir. No, sir. Make it, just get back home. Get back home.
Different conversation. Yeah.
It's a whole different conversation. But these are the conversations that my father had with me growing up in the deep South. Okay. You know what I mean? The first time I was called the N-word, I was 6 years old. And my dad had to explain to me what it was after he got finished jumping on the dude. He had to explain to me why he did that, because I'm looking at and why my daddy punching this guy, and he explained to me the meaning, and he took the time then to explain to me where we stood as Black Americans in this country, where we was coming from, and where we were in the South, and how some people were still holding on to those type theories that we were less than men, and you had to overcome that. And I went to an all-Black high school, where our teachers, they went outside the history books and taught us the true history of America in the South, and they didn't let it become a crutch. So it's part of my fiber, and it's also helping my faith, because I honestly believe there's no situation God is going to allow me to go in that he ain't equipped me to handle. Right. I just got to be able to look for it and understand his purpose in my life. And once I found out my purpose in my life, he began to download to me, hey, you're going to be in this situation, this is how you're going to handle it. You're going to have kids, you're going to handle this situation like this. And it's all for the greatest purpose. And my purpose in life is not to be the best coach or the best football player. It was just to make sure that people like me coming behind me had it easier than I did. Mm-hmm. And that's why I got into coaching. That's why I got into mentoring. That's why, when you play in the NFL, you got clothes, shoes, and stuff you'll never wear. My first 5 years when I was done playing, I used to bring seniors that was going off to college who parents couldn't afford clothes, bigger guys. I let them have a shopping spree in my closet. I'm like, get what you can get. Truckloads of clothes, because I wanted them, because I knew what it was to go to college and have to share a shirt with somebody my size or a pair of shoes. My mama worked in the mill for $2.75 an hour. She couldn't afford to buy no size 14s.
Absolutely.
I had 7 sisters. You know what I mean? I'm the low man on the totem pole.
Right.
Because women was always women first. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I didn't get my first bed until I went to college. That was my first time sleeping in my own bed. My apartment in college was bigger than the one I grew up in. So you know, and that's part of my fiber. But my faith has always helped me, because if I had told you that I'd be one of 8 kids, the only boy, would grow up and play, go to college, get drafted, play 12 years, be in 2 Super Bowls, you'd be like, oh man, that's a fantasy.
That's right.
No, that's my life. But it was all based on my faith, because there's been plenty of times I wanted to walk away. You know, I want all this too, man. No, I'm gonna join the military like all my other buddies. But no, my faith and just knowing my purpose in life knew that I had to do it so that next guy, the next kid sitting behind me or growing up in my neighborhood, and that's how a guy like Jarvis Jones, who was first round pick to the Steelers, he went to the same high school, that could walk up to me and say, hey man, you made me believe I could make it to the NFL. Isaiah Crowell, another guy, Gabe Wright, Chris Hubbard, you know, all these guys, Rod Hood, these are guys I was older than them, but they watched me growing up and saying, if he went to my school, he stayed in my neighborhood, he ate at the same McDonald's I ate at, and if he can make it, I can make it. And that's the greatest feeling ever.
Wow. He has a son who's one of the top defensive players in the nation. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out there. You know, so to be able to have that type of responsibility, but to have to deal with these everyday pressures, man, that's you know, that's kind of moving. That's a challenge for you as well, to be able to execute that as a father.
Yes, it really is, because, you know, childhood, you know, we do what we do to make our kids' life better. And, in the perfect dream, my kids are gonna go to school. They know they're gonna have a roof over their head. They're gonna enjoy high school life before they become an adult. You know, you try to let them enjoy life. But now, with what's going on with the leadership in the country and the divide, you have to grow your kids up so fast. Mm-hmm. You know, you have to grow them up so fast just for their safety. Right. And that's the craziest thing about it, you know, because, you know, to be real with you, with me, all my kids were born while I was in the league playing or growing up while I was coaching. So their life is more diverse. You know what I mean? They grew up around mostly white predominant people, because that's where I stay. That's where I live. And so they've never really, they knew who they are. They know who they are. They know where they come from. But it never crossed their mind that people can dislike me because of the color of my skin. Mm. You know what I mean? Because I got friends. You know, my son's best friend is a kid he been knowing in North Carolina from when we stay there. They best friends. You know, he flies to North Carolina, spend time with their family. Cole flies out here, spend time with him. And they 2 kids that never saw color. They've been best friends since the 1st grade. But now it's a chance where they have to literally, you know, look at one another and say and tell their other friends, oh, he's okay. You know, I've been knowing him, you know, and that's hard. You know, My son was like, when he comes out here, I have to explain to my friends out here that, yeah, I know he's white, but this is my best friend. We're like brothers. You know what I mean? And I'm glad they do it, because I tell my son, y'all can be an example, a small example, to bring people closer. But it's just been, it's super scary. Like I said, because this country here was supposed to be a melting pot. But what we're realizing, liberty and justice for all never really meant the same for me and you like it meant for other races. Right. You know what I mean? And we're starting to see that now. You know, even though we did make greater strides, we was able to make money, drive cars, and stay in places that our grandparents or great grandparents could. But the underlying fact is it still was a part of America that didn't want to accept us for being who we were. And when you have a leader in the country that pokes the bear and stir up those feelings, and because he is the ultimate leader in the free world, people feel like, all right, it's good for me to finally express this. Right. I've lost so many friends, I'll say friends or associates, because of what this guy's also. That's how you really been feeling for the last 20 years. Right. You know what I mean? So everything we had as friends and neighbors, that was all a wash, because you weren't really feeling like that. You just now got the courage enough to say it because you feel the leader of the free world is behind your back.
Wow.
And with the internet, people can say what they want, and it's cool because sooner or later, it's a whole pruning process. Who's supposed to be with you and rock with you, gonna rock with you.
Yeah.
But so I'm really glad because I was like, I sit down and talk to my wife and I'm like, man, we've ate dinner with those folks. They came to our house. You know what I mean? I've gave them tickets to games to come sit in the stands and cheer and sit beside my family. But deep down in their heart, they had animosity toward me for who I am and the color of my skin. But what's done in the dark soon will come out in the light.
And I tell you, because the divide really comes in the difference in your example and your kids' example is that they're accepting each other for who they are. You know, the relationship, the intimate relationship that they have as homeboys, where sounds like, you know, some of the people that you thought were quote unquote friends, really, you know, that friendship was based off of socioeconomic status and the association.
Right.
And so, like you say, with the leadership that we have and the things that are being influenced, if you will, it just gives you an idea of really what, you know, what one of my old, you know, consultants used to always say, bring it from the front to the back. You know, now you bringing what was back here, and you had in your memory and those thoughts and emotions. You bringing it to the front now and bringing it to the forefront. And like you say, we have a big divide, man. It's unfortunate, and hopefully, you know, this will be short-lived. 2020 has been something else.
This year here gonna have its own history book.
Absolutely. 2020
gonna have its own. You're gonna be able to go to college and study 2020 one day. It's gonna be a class because this been a year like no year I ever seen before in my life.
Absolutely. And talking about this year, I wanted to kind of talk about this upcoming, you know, football season and what your thoughts are regarding the pandemic and how, you know, the Cardinals and you guys are kind of holding that down and staying safe. And also just wanted to talk about the pressure or the anxiety of dealing with that while trying to stay focused, you know, doing your job as a coach and leading men, you know, in this pandemic.
We've really, NFL as a whole, and especially the Cardinals, we've really done a great job of just like, once again, educating the guys with the pandemic. And like I said before, you know, NFL, you know, athletes are always talking about we're family. You got to trust the man next to you. You got to play for the man next to you. Right. And now this year alone, you got to live for that guy next to you. And, you know, I talk to guys because not everybody in your room is not going to be married. Some guys are single. And, you know, they got a lot of money in their pockets and they used to going out and dating women. But I said, no, this time you got to live for this guy next to you. You know, whereas any other year you can go have dinner, go out, meet a lady, do whatever you want to do. But now you got to think, if you go outside and be in a place and catch COVID-19, you bring it back to one of your teammates that got 2 kids. He can take it home and give it to his kids. They get sick. How would that make you feel? So we always talk about, I'm willing to sacrifice anything for my teammates. But this year you got to do it. Absolutely. And we've done a great job. Guys have really bought in. You know, we're one of the 9 teams in the NFL that hasn't had a positive COVID test yet. Wow. You know, as far as coaches too, I have to be careful. You know, I got a son that's in high school and you know, he has to sacrifice some of his things. Like he can't go sit around his buddy's house and play video games because he knows it'll affect my job if I become test positive with it because I got it from him. So, you know, it's kind of hard, you know, and I have to explain to him that, hey, it's a part of growing up. Sometimes you're going to be willing to do something for somebody else that you would never benefit from. And we just keep on doing, like I said, educating the guys, educating our families, because it's going to be it's a week-to-week thing. As the season get closer and closer, you're going to have to go week to week because if one guy catch it on your team, he can expose the whole organization.
That's right.
So the NFL has done a great, like I said, you know, we test every day. You know, we're doing the social distancing even in meeting rooms. Like, you know, you've been in training camp before. There's no people ain't congregating in one room or, you know, they get breakout room. Everybody, you know, even the dinner tables, that bistro tables, 1 seat per every 6 feet. So guys are eating alone, and guys in the meeting room, you know, the meeting rooms are 3 times bigger than they normally would be. You know, think we're at a resort, so we got all the ballrooms. So I got 10,000 square feet for 10 players.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So we actually, you know, we're doing a great job. You know, Cliff Kingsbury, you know, as a coach, you know, is practice fast. We on and we off, get the guys away from one another, and just try to make it to the next day. But we've really been doing a good job. But it is taxing because you want to preach unity in a time where you really can't unite because of what's going on. But our players have done it because of the leadership on the team, having Patrick Peterson and those type guys are doing a good job to make sure that the team stay together and galvanize through this thing to make sure we be ready for week 1.
Man, that is a lot. But I definitely wanted to ask you a question as far as being a coach as long as you have versus being a player. Yeah. You know, the coach, I'm pretty sure y'all put in way more hours, preparation, things like that. How does that work life family balance out since you've been a coach? Has it been more difficult? Is it a little bit easier? How has it been for you?
You about to answer to the workaholics that's listening.
Right. Well, I came in under Bruce Arians. I was blessed. Bruce Arians, when he offered me the job and I accepted in 2013, he said, "Look, all the nightmares you heard about coaching, I'm here to kill those." I'm like, "What you mean?" He like, "I came into coaching where I saw men lose their families, didn't see their kids grow up because they were just in there working football 24/7, and their wives ended up leaving them, or they miss birthdays and parties and recitals for their kids." He like, "I'm not having that." So the first thing he made you sign when you came in, you had to sign a disclosure that said, if you missed a kid's birthday party, a recital, or a sporting event, and it wasn't on a game day, he had the right to fire you.
Wow.
He said, awesome. "I'm not going to let football break up your family." He like, "You're not going to," and this was a funny thing to me. He like, "Look at that football screen." He was like, "You see that player?" Like, "Yeah." He like, "It looks the same at 7 o'clock in the morning as it do at 7 o'clock at night." So he's like, "Why would you stay here at night hoping it's going to change?" So I came in with that coach where we was home by 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You know, I could get off work and go catch my son football practice when he was playing Little League football. Wow. Or I could take my wife, we could have a date night because BA always had a date night. And so I've been blessed to be with other coaches like that until I got in Oakland with John Gruden, and he was straight old school where the sun come up at 3, you be at 2:59, it goes down at 11 o'clock at night, you stay to 12 o'clock at night. And it was a big difference. And that wore on me because I was like, I wasn't used to it. Right. And but what we're starting to learn now, and what a lot of the new young coaches are starting to learn, you can't football can burn you out. You can't let it dictate your whole life. You got to be able to live outside of this. And so I've been blessed, like I said, to be with.
But hey, so when you hear that whistle, there's one thing about it. That means you done dropped the jewel, and I just can't let it pass through one time. When you talk about there's more to it. I need you to speak about this one more. Say it with this one more time.
What did I say? There's more to it than just football.
Yeah.
There's more to life than just football. Football. See, this is what they don't understand. They think football is who we are. Football is what we do.
Right.
And even as a player, I played 12 years, and I'm 48 now. So that's a little small parcel of my life. Yeah. You know, I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a brother. I'm all this other stuff. And you coach football. So you got to have an outside life. You see guys that struggle. Like I look at a lot of great players. They're great. Their lives go good when they're in the NFL. But as soon as the NFL over with, they're lost. Why? Because they let football become who they were. Right. I'm talking. What brought me back to reality when I retired from the NFL. I remember walking down the street at CIAA, and this little kid walked up to me and said, "Didn't you used to be Brentson Buckner?" I said, "Used to be. I think I still am." Right. Like, no, Brentson Buckner played for the Panthers. You used to be him. And it brought me back to reality that people identify you by what we do. But I got a whole nother life. And when I got done with football, I went into that life.
Yeah.
You know, I had radio shows, I coached, I was on television. You know, I did other things because that part of my life, that chapter was closed and I was able to move on. But you got to have other stuff you do. Because for me, football was always playing C. It was education. You know what I mean? Didn't get more education, get a better job, then, this football might work out. Well, football worked out. And so I was good, but I always knew that education was going to last me longer. Because I tell kids all the time, you'll be a high school graduate, a college graduate your whole life. You're only going to be a football player for this much. You're going to be an ex-football player. You'll always be a college or a high school graduate.
Yeah. So I definitely heard some key words in there definitely throughout this entire conversation, and they both start with F. It was family and it was faith. So I definitely want to talk about how has your faith kind of helped translate you to this person, this man that you are today, and when did you kind of get that switch to where you you're going from being a young man doing what young men do to now being a proud father, husband, working overall, just a better person, mentor, right?
Yeah.
Well, my faith has always been super strong, because I remember telling my father at 9 I wanted to be a professional football player. But I didn't get to play till I was 12 because I was too big. Now at 9 years old, I weighed 200 pounds, so I couldn't play Little League football.
Wow.
So I had that, and I never forget the last year of, I think I was 11, and it was the last year I was gonna have to play Little League, and I went and I missed the weight by about 20 pounds. And I remember I was sitting on my dad's car and I was crying. I want to play. I never get this man came up to me and he asked my dad, like, what's wrong with him? And he's like, well, he's not gonna be able to play this year because he's too big and this is the last year for Little League. He's gonna have to wait till middle school. I remember the man looked at me, he was like, one day they're gonna pay you to play football.
Wow.
And little did I know, that guy became my high school coach. And when I got to high school, that was only my 3rd year playing football. So it was still in my, do I really want to do this? He would never let me quit. He would always push me harder and harder. And what it made me realize is that, just have faith in what you speak on yourself. And then God would put things in your life to help you go. A lot of people think gifts from God are like, oh, there's a big house, there's a big car. I think gifts are people to help you, usher you towards your destiny or your purpose. And he was one of those guys that
got to. I don't want to keep interrupting you, but man, shoot, I ain't gonna play with it.
Right. Dang. Like,
come on, Buck. Come on. Come back one more time for me.
Yeah, I think, a lot of people, we pray to God. We want these, God, just bless me with this. And we think it's like a magic trick. You're going to wake up, you're going to have a big house and a bank account full of money and all this. But the gifts that God sent out are sometimes angels disguised as people to help you get to your destiny. Like, I used to have friends like, man, I want to go in and hang out. No, I'm going to pick you up. We're going to go hang out. Then the place I was going to go to, it gets shot up. And I sit back and like, wow, had you not come to get me, I could have been in that house. Or, I have guys like, hey man, let's go out here and work on this. This is going to help you. No, I ain't gonna do that. Yeah, you need to go. I was gonna go here and do this. Oh man, dude broke his notorious ACL doing that other stuff. Now you safe. So you get these people in your life, these gifts from God, and all you gotta do is understand that a lot of times people are there to direct you where you need to go. You know what I mean? They direct you where you need to go inadvertently, sometimes to get you. And they're there for a season, and if you listen to them and you understand that purpose, you begin to know how God is speaking to you through them. Right. And I had that throughout my career. I never forget Sam Mills Sr. When we went to that 1 in 15 year, he came to my locker. He was like, man, there's something about you. You gonna help this team go places it's never been. He like, just keep on doing what you do. You might seem like it's going for naught now. He like, but keep doing what you do. And I love Sam. I'm just like, darn, I'm like, all right, what do you mean? But then I never told him, but I remember when John Fox got got the team, and I went upstairs to meet the coaches. They called me up there. I looked on the depth chart. I started the whole year before. He had me number 5 on the depth chart. I said, something ain't right here. So I asked the D-line coach, I was like, you see me as the 5th best defensive lineman on this team, D-tackle on this team? Oh, no, it's not that. We just put names on the board. I said, all right, no, you're not. But then I knew what Sam said. Keep being who you are, and it was going to pay off. So I went into camp. I became more who I was going to be. I was going to be more of a vocal leader. I was going to be more of a guy who had knowledge. And by the second week of training camp, I was a starter. Yeah. That led to being a part of one of the best D-lines to play at Carolina. Yeah. It was Sam's message, be more who you are. Don't change. Be more who you are. Because what we don't understand is one thing all us in the world that's walking this earth are the best at. That's being who God created you to be. And I hate when people say, be the next this. Why would I be the next somebody when I can be the first me?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's how I was as a player, and that's how I'm as a coach. You know, people come to me and it's like, man, you act like you the best coach it is. I am. I'm the best Brentson Buckner coach that ever gonna be in this world.
That's right.
So why would I play second fiddle to nobody? I ain't gonna play second fiddle to nobody.
I know that's right. I know that's
man.
Right.
Yeah, that's true, man. And a lot of people, not only coaches, can take from what you just said, you know, and the stance that you have to take, and being and finding your own self and being true to yourself and having your own identity and not following a model, or maybe not even a model, but a tradition that you know you may have come up with that just isn't right. Right. You have shown and have displayed and shared with us the intestinal fortitude needed to stay within yourself and be an agent of change, and how to, you know, become a person from a franchise transitional player to now a franchise transitional coach, and someone who's already been that, you know, in his own household and started with your own household first. Right. You know, who you are, your mindset, and it goes back to the question that you asked him earlier. And I think he answered it, but he's kept answering is that it's just who he is. Yeah. You know, the qualities and the characteristics, no matter what arena he's found himself in, has stayed the same. And it also goes back to his faith in saying that, you know, I know, you know, who has, you know, my back. I know who's in control of my future. So I don't necessarily worry about that. I'm going to use, you know, these tools, as he called them, the angels, to guide me through this life journey. So that's some powerful words and messages there.
Oh man, wow, this has been good.
Yeah, wow.
So some good information. But I definitely, before we let him go, we gotta throw some hot ones out there.
Go ahead.
Now we usually keep it here on Blow the Whistle. We usually try to throw some little dark, some questions that you probably wouldn't be asked a whole lot on any other podcast.
All right, go ahead.
Hit him up.
It won't get too bad.
Hit him up.
Hit him up. Okay.
Hit me up.
Who would you say is kind of your toughest opponent, lineman, old lineman throughout your years in the league?
Larry Allen, Dallas Cowboys, monster.
What about him? What about him?
Man, Larry Allen was so physically gifted for an offensive lineman. You know, he had defensive lineman feet and a defensive lineman mentality. And the thing about Larry Allen was, O-line and D-line talk trash, so you can get a guy out your game and he can get you going. Larry Allen didn't look at you, didn't say nothing, because he played with dip in his mouth. And he was so strong and big and fast, and you just knew you had to fight him the whole game. Wow. Because he wasn't gonna talk. If he blocked you, he wouldn't get up and go to the huddle. If you beat him, he wasn't gonna say nothing. It was just his mentality that for 60 minutes, you better ball your fists up, because he was coming off the ball every snap. But it was a guy that came from Sonoma State, you know, and I had met him at the Senior Bowl because he came in as an alternate, and he came to practice on a Tuesday. By that Thursday, 4 D linemen had checked themselves out of the Senior Bowl. He was costing people money. He was taking people money. So agents were pulling guys off the field. No, you're not going against this guy. But he was a dog though. He was a dog.
But how big are you? About 6'3", 6'2"?
I'm 6'2" and a half. Right now, 285.
285. Now I'm gonna go ahead and erase the stigma because when you say 6'2", 285, you just have a vision.
Yeah.
And you one of the healthiest dudes I know. When the last time you had meat or sugar?
Well, actually, I started back on meat because I was losing muscle, but I hadn't had sugar in about 7 or 8 years.
Wow.
I went vegan for 3 years, but I was starting to lose muscle tone. So the doctor's like, man, you're losing muscle. He like, so you got to add protein back in. So I eat like fish. I eat fish or some kind of chicken or some plant-based protein, but I ain't had sugar. I know it might be like 9 years now.
What is that a change like that done to, like, not only your, I mean, we understand what it does to your body. What has it done to your mental as well?
Oh, your mental clarity clears up. The first time when I first stopped eating sugar was the first thing I did. It was almost like I was a drug addict trying to get clean. I'm talking, I would fiend it. Like I would wake up in the middle of the night sweating. Like I just need a piece of candy. But once I got it out, after the first 21 days and I got it out of my system, I slept better at night. My mental clarity came back and I started to read more and more. I was like, man, this is good. Like my thought processes were clear. My breathing, everything just, it was like taking bad fuel out of your car, like realigning your car. But my mental clarity has been great. I'm too scared to even take a piece of sugar now because I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Everything is so clear. Like I know a lot of guys I play with are struggling, for that mental clarity. But when I talk to some of the natural doctors, it's like a lot of the stuff that we put in our body naturally cannot handle. And if you remove that and let the body naturally regenerate itself, your health and everything, like I said, my knees were bad. My joints were swelling up. But I stopped eating that sugar and that meat, and it was like, I felt like I could play again. I knew I couldn't, but at least I felt like I could.
Wow. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I mean, we definitely talk about the connection between the mind, body, and soul. So you definitely are hitting all those bullet points when we're talking about faith and maintaining that positive attitude, but also making sure that you're working your brain with that mental clarity, and also with the, just with your diet and what we're digesting, both from a physical standpoint as far as food, but also mentally what we're digesting and how our interactions are and how our relationships are. So definitely, I salute for sure. I didn't know, he was
and just the self-care pieces.
That's big.
You talk about the faith. You talk about the changes in your diet. Just two simple changes in decisions can make a lifelong effect.
Right.
And you can see just, by the things that he's done.
Yeah.
And so, to those who are listening out there, don't think it doesn't have to be, this big, extravagant change or a project, if you will, and getting your mental clarity and being mind strong. You can simply do what Brentson has said and suggested and follow that path and get some mental clarity. Just better sleep, just eating better helps out a lot. And so, we talk about mental health. It's not always, psychosis and things of that nature.
It's not really, always medication.
It's not medication. It's simple nutritional values and things that you can change that make a big difference.
I never forget when I became a vegan and I was talking to this young lady who her and her husband owned a vegan shop, and they was talking to, and I was just like, man, my temperament as a coach has went down. I'm not mad, I'm not easily angered. And she said something funny. She's like, have you ever walked by a pissed off tree? She's like, you ain't never heard of mad tree disease, have you?
Right.
I was like, no. She was like, because you are what you eat. She's like, plants are quiet and soothing. You eat animals rage, get mad, and however they are processed, it carries on into their meat, into their muscles that you eat. Whereas a plant is just a plant, it's soothing. I said, man, that makes perfect sense to me. You know what I mean?
Sure. Never thought of it that way.
I'm gonna take that one.
Hey, I can't.
I
No
hope she
bacon
ain't-
though,
I hope
man.
she ain't copyrighted. Man, Buck, man, listen to him, man. I know, you know, out on the West Coast, man, and you in the middle of training camp and about to lead the best, you know, the second best, we'll say, defensive line in NFL history. It's just we gotta wait to see him in the next couple of weeks, man. But I wish you the best of luck, you and your family, to keep, you know, stay safe. I know you'll continue to stay blessed and prayed up, man. And just thank you for your time and coming and being able to drop some jewels and some knowledge, man. It's always a blessing when people that look like us and been the places that we've been can, you know, come together and kind of talk about something that's more than, you know, what's up under the tree or on the corner, you know what I mean? And from that, we can talk about some real issues, some real things that's going on. It's really going to help some people, man. And I applaud you, like Dame said, for using your platform the way that you're using it. You know, I had no other expectation, you know, after seeing you as a teammate that, you know, you would go on in your post career and do wonderful things, man. So just continue to be that guy, man. You know what that means. You know, continue to be that guy for us and represent us in a great and profound way.
Yeah, most definitely. I appreciate it, man. Salute y'all guys for you know just being positive role models and showing people, you know, man, you can get out here and do it on your own, man, and you know, keeping it straightforward. And I always tell people, man, this last thing I say, man, we always told following footsteps. We don't follow footsteps, we blaze trails now. And that's what you guys are doing. Man, keep blazing trails. Don't follow in footsteps. Blaze new trails so these kids have more avenues where they can see, man, I can go this way and still make it. Wow. And we're gonna be strong together and just keep on fighting. But I appreciate everything, fam.
Appreciate you, bro.
Definitely appreciate it. I know you got some stuff going on, so definitely plug anything you got going on right now. Where can they find you? You know, we know you out there on the West Coast.
We got Facebook for fame. I see the
hats. I like the hats. I like the hats, but
well, you can find me. You know, you can always
yes, sir.
At faithbeforefamepapparel.com. Right now, I'm relaunched. Well, I'm relaunching it right now. I redid the logo, and we're gonna relaunch it at the beginning of the year with new shirts, polos, and everything. And my whole thing with Faith Before Fame is, you know, it's the clothes that say loud, that speak loud without saying a word. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of times I don't ask you about religion. Everybody's got faith. You know, and faith is what you make it. So, you know, and that's always been my mantra. And I just turned over to a t-shirt hat company, and we're gonna launch it again January at the beginning of the year. 2021 is a new beginnings year, and we're gonna start off. But you can find me at Faith Before Fame _Faith Before Fame on IG. You know, at Faith Before Fame on Twitter, and then on Facebook, Brentson Buckner, and then it's just like that. And I'm one of the people that talk to everybody, so I'm not one of them uppity coaches that don't talk. You can talk to me about anything. You know, you feel me. So
you're gonna give a comment back. I get you.
I mean, you might not like what I say back, but I'm gonna say something back. You know, but that's what it's for, man. So I have coaches hit me all the time, ask me for schemes and what they think. You know, I try to help kids get in college, help parents with recruiting, or just if you just want to talk, you know, just hit me up. I'm always on there.
Wow, that's awesome.
Appreciate you, man.
We'll definitely with you. I'm getting one of those. I'm a hat guy. I like the hat.
Oh, I'm going to the website. I'm good.
All right, for sure, man. Peace.
All right, man.
Appreciate you again. Thank you.